So this week's species spotlight, probably not really planned really, the red-tailed hawk. So I've not personally flown a red-tailed hawk for quite a while. Kyle, my son, was flying a melanistic, a black version of a red-tail not that many years ago at all. Here at Icarus Falconry, stop raining, here at Icarus Falconry. Here at Icarus Falconry, really don't want second-hand birds. We could rehome thousands, like a puppy pound. We could end up with thousands of rehome birds. That's the state of falconry here in the UK. Now and again, we take on a second-hand bird, usually because it's got a genuine story and I'm a softie. This girl's come to us. She's a hunting redtail. She's a mature redtail for no fault of her own and through no fault of the falconers. And that's a big difference. None of this new job forces sale rubbish. A genuine case. The bird needed to go to a good home. So I've said she can come here. We'll employ her to see if she'll do any display work at all, but she's already been hunting. She can train a new volunteer that wants to learn falconry, so we can go through the motions with the redtail, even though she's already trained. If she's not suitable for that job, the difference is the guy that she came from didn't have time to find a good owner. And I've said to him, I've promised him, if she doesn't work out here at all and we can't employ her here for anything, I'll find her a really good hunting home, because at the end of the day, I've got the whole summer to do that for sure. So here she is, a red-tailed hawk. As you all know, the red-tailed hawk, it's not a hawk in English falconry, it's a buzzard, it's a buteo, just like our common buzzards. It's in exactly the same family, but these are buzzards on steroids. The foot power and the foot size is much bigger than our common buzzard. The bird's much bigger. She's weighing at £2.12 today. She came to us fat molt weight, and she's reduced her weight enough to feed one on the glove. We're just going to give her a bit of clearance work now. What's her flying weight? I don't know. How do I know? The guy didn't tell me. He doesn't need to tell me, does he? At the end of the day, his scales could be different to mine. We'll find her flying weight here as we move forward. So we've never tried a hop with her. We're just going to try a little chick head. Okay, so a week of gradual weight reduction, just making friends, getting used to the dogs. So far, no sticky footedness at all, and the most beautiful manners. But her weight's coming down, we'll find out. The guy's done a great job with her, but there's no point me believing what anyone says. He hasn't told me much of the story. He didn't need to. But you don't believe, you get a second-hand bird, it's a second-hand car. There's no point even believing what you're told unless you know the bird inside out. Find out as you go along and take good care with the redtail. You just don't know. Showing it food at the moment, get its attention. Hey. Okay, so she's come, her appetite's up. She knows what she's done. She's been trained well, I'm pretty sure, knowing the guy, or at least knowing the guy through a third-party friend. We're just going to give her 3 jump-offs, call-offs, for a big, obvious reward. I just want to check out her body language and her confidence. Have a look at her feet. This is what you get with a redtail. Not a big foot span. Some female goshawks and harrisawks have much bigger, longer toes, a bigger foot span. You just get incredibly stout buzzard feet, incredibly stout ankles. These guys are hunted by falconers in the US and Canada on squirrel quite often. Their feet are designed to take squirrel bites, and they do get bitten, certainly to start with. It can end their career, of course, like any bird hunting squirrel. But of course, these birds naturally are squirrel hunters as part of their diet. And that thick, stout foot that can take a bit of abuse certainly makes redtails probably the bird of choice if you're really going to hunt squirrels. They are a dangerous quarry for sure. The grip is insane, and they're well known for flighty, nasty behaviour. This girl was very scared of the bare hand to start with, whether that's because the previous owner kept his hands away. They have a reputation for being grippy and grabby, certainly around food. I like to feed my birds on kills. I want a redtail whose feet I can touch. You can see that kind of aggression there. She's snatching, she's going, get off. I don't think she's used to the hand being around, but of course, if you squeal and snatch your hand away, yeah, it's giving us a different signal, but on the other hand, they do hurt when they get you. Let's see if she knows the T-perch. Okay, I think she's going to be a really good bird. So most redtails in the UK, they turn red on their tail. Not all redtails do that, but in the UK, they don't have a red tail to start with. They grow their red tail. She's looking at the hen pheasant that's just gone in there. Ruby. Again, don't know if the guys use hand signals, so I'm going to what I expect a lot of falconers to do, and that's just wriggle a bit of food. We use a lot of hand signals here. She's already had a chick, she's going to have two. You can already see she'd lost concentration having had one chick. But look how far she's come. She's not even been asked to hop to the glove by us in this last week. She's also going to be flown by more than one person. As is normal at most falconry centres, most of the birds need to be flown by more than one person. But I for sure need to just keep an eye on her body language being second hand. I'm going to try one more before the whole lot goes from a crop to a tummy. Remember, there's no point me asking the guy's weight. He was hunting her as a falconry bird in winter. We're flying her spring and summer. The weight, most likely, will be less. No. One more, just to see. It doesn't matter if it goes wrong. We can see what's happening. Probably will go wrong, because I've just realised there's no food left in my pocket except a tiny snack. Ruby! Ruby! So that's Ruby's story so far. In the rest of this short video, I'm going to tell you some pros and cons of flying red-tailed hawks. I love them. I think they look great. I think they're a little bit harder than a Harris hawk for a novice, and I do think you will learn more training a red-tail and working with a red-tail than you will a Harris's hawk. At the end of the day, Harris hawk is easier. It's probably better now as an all-round bird. It is faster than a red-tail, but for sure, something with a bit of attitude that's less forgiving and harder to motivate will certainly make you a better falconer off the bat. Yes, I know she's got a couple of tail feathers broken. Yes, I know her beak needs coping. She doesn't hood. We will work on that. I don't want to break down the trust straight away, so we're going to put it with an overlong beak just for a little bit longer. Check out the rest of the video. Just want to take a microscopic mini break in the film, guys. If you know who Ben Woodruff is, you probably know he's had a serious health scare lately. Certainly he's not bouncing back to work anytime in the next few weeks, I shouldn't think. If you don't know who Ben Woodruff is, check out his YouTube. And you know what? I think we should all be watching his YouTube videos right now, because that's going to help in many, many ways. And one way it's really going to help, certainly if you don't skip through the adverts, it's actually going to give a little bit of revenue to the channel from the adverts. If you skip the adverts, no YouTuber gets anything from the adverts. Let some of those videos play. There's two reasons for that. That's going to help Ben have some kind of input financially. And he's spent years building a fantastic falconry YouTube channel. It wasn't meant to be just falconry. Check out some of the dinosaur videos really early on. Magnificent, some of his stuff on there. But it's become a falconry channel. He knows so much stuff. He gets it across in a really easy to understand way. So watch a lot of his YouTube videos. It's going to help Ben no end, and it's going to help many of us no end from the stuff we learn. I'd also say check out his Facebook page, because I'm really hoping soon, maybe his brother, his family, they might put, I think, a GoFundMe type link or something on there. This guy, let's stand together as a falconry community and help him out, because he's put an awful lot of his life out there to help us out. So what goes around, let it go back again. Let's help the guy. So red-tailed hawks, what do they offer? What's the point of getting one, I guess? Well, I think nowadays, the main thing of what's the point of getting yourself a certain species of falconry bird would be really, what geography have you got? What's the land like? What quarry do you have to hunt locally in abundance? The old saying would be, of course, choose the bird of prey that's best suited to fly in those conditions, and hunt that quarry, and then you're going to have the most successful falconry, bar none. Applying your choice of bird to what you have and where you have to fly is always going to give you great success. But nowadays, we don't need to hunt meat only with our birds to get meat in our diet. So why get a red tail? get a red-tailed hawk because you want to train, fly and work with a red-tailed hawk. I'd get a goshawk because that's what you want. There you are on there. I'd get a golden eagle for no other reason than you really want to try and fly and interact and have a bond with that species of bird, so on and so forth. At the end of the day, if you're flying a bird that's really successful because you've matched it to the quarry and land, but it's not the style of falconry you enjoy, you're still not going to enjoy your falconry. Get a bird because it's what you really, really want. That's why I'd always say, don't get a certain kind of bird because it's a good beginner's bird. Get the bird you want to fly and do the sufficient research, even if it takes years, before. And then you can work and fly that bird for years and years. So what do they offer? Well, we've discussed, they offer these stout feet. They catch squirrels in the wild, and it means their feet can, I guess, take squirrel bites better than any other bird. So the choice of bird for hunting squirrels probably is always going to be the red-tailed hawk. Don't drop it everywhere. I've only got one hand. But those stout feet, let's have a look at them. Those stout feet, again, not the biggest foot span, just thick old trunks on that sort of ankle, if you want to call it an ankle, and thick feet and toes. They also, with the weight of the bird, it's a female, you know, you're looking at around a 3 pound mark. It's got hair stopping capabilities, and for, unless she thinks there's another hawk feeding next to her. And for a lot of falconers, for a very long time now, redtails have certainly been the bird of choice for hunting hares and a mixed bag here in the UK. So they've certainly got, they don't have the biggest foot span, but they have got the stopping power like you can't believe, with these incredibly strong stout feet. So a bird that can be fit enough to chase squirrels around the trees, around the treetops, on the other end of the spectrum, can fly down and catch and hold brown hares, full-grown brown hares. So a very capable species. And they'll be good at rabbiting and so on. How fast are they? Oh, do we need to discuss how fast? Yeah, I suppose we do. A goshawk, talking fit birds here. A goshawk is faster than a harrisawk off the fist in a straight line chase. A harrisawk is a bit faster off the fist in a straight line chase than a red-tailed hawk. All of them offer enough speed to hunt the correct game that you're going to hunt with them, don't they? So, hold on. It's just put it on there. Put it on there. No. Okay, we'll get that in a minute. They all offer sufficient speed. If you want to hunt game birds off the fist in direct pursuit, taking down those pheasants and partridge before they make cover, the goshawk is the bird for you. It's not the harrisawk, it's not the redtail. Both redtails and harrisawks can outfly game to the point of tail chasing, keeping up reasonably well, and grabbing that game bird as it puts into cover. If you want to hunt birds with redtails, put them up in the trees, get them following on. You're catching the birds, thanks for that, on the rise more than a long-term tail chase. If you want to hunt hares, redtails work well. If you want to hunt bolted rabbits, redtails work well. If you want to hunt bolted rabbits off the fist or following on in the woodland, redtails work well. I think one of their biggest claim to fame is that, I was going to say bravery, it's their insanity into smashing into cover. These birds will follow game into cover, and they will not only will they not break slightly before going through the cover, they don't even seem to think about stopping. They will just, if they think they're going to hit that bird in cover because it's just beat them there, they are bulldozer, sledgehammer birds. And when you witness a really fit, driven redtail flying at other animals, and the way they fly into cover, you do think, I don't know whether you're brave or stupid, but my goodness me, they certainly, yeah, they've got the mettle for a lot of stuff. I would say, if you want ground game, rabbits and hares, and you want to hunt squirrels, this is a pretty good all-round bird. And you're going to put birds in the bag, flying out of trees over duck ponds or areas holding game birds. But you're not going to get exciting 200-yard tail chases where the bird binds in the air. That's your goshawk territory. It's not your redtail and your harrisawk. But these birds will still chase these things. They will still fill the bag. Is it better than a harrisawk? Is it better than a goshawk? Absolutely. If you want to fly a redtail, of course it is. If you want to fly a goshawk, then a goshawk's better than a redtail or a Harris-hawk. It really is that simple. We do need to make comparisons because people are just interested. But at the end of the day, fly what you want. Personality-wise, totally chilled out. The redtails, the small number of redtails I've actually trained, remember this girl's already trained, they've been incredibly calm birds. So they've got, look at this bird. I haven't touched her since we made the start of this video, which was about 3 days ago. In a strange room indoors. So you can see another redtail flashing in the feedback, or oh, Dave, from the camera. Very, very chilled out birds to have around. In fact, they're downright relaxing to have around, even if it's just weathering on the weathering lawn as you go about your business in the garden. Really lovely birds. So personality, absolutely love them. I have got a reputation for being very flighty with these. They will snatch around food, they will grip, but nothing like people maintain their like. Remember, here in the UK, we're talking with captive bred birds, and I'm talking about parent-reared redtails. In the US, where they can trap them, these birds are for the absolute beginner and the expert level falconer, if you like. They really will. They'll see you a lifetime of falconry. They are that good at doing all kinds of stuff. But personality-wise, gripping up with their feet, they can be sticky-footed if you bring their weight down too harshly, especially in the beginning. They can be snatching around food. It's how you deal with them. Again, it goes to me keeping my snakes, and people say, oh, I can't handle this snake. It strikes at me. As soon as I open the enclosure, I'll put my hand in, take the snake out, won't get bitten. This bird so far, I can't show you again because I've only got one hand. One's on the camera. So far, this bird hardly knows me, but now he's relaxed enough around me to eat well and everything else. Come on, the critters. No problem with its feet whatsoever. On a kill, certainly to start with, you might get them plant their feet in your hand as you open up a kill until they realise your hand doesn't take food away. Remember, my training methods, I don't shortchange the birds. If they can see the food in the glove, they get all the food in the glove and so on. It will quickly learn if you let it have a bite and pull the rest of the food away. And that's when a redtail, for sure, will start trying to get hold of your bare hand because it knows it's a thief. Settle down. So personality, I think, absolutely glorious. Look at her all puffed up now. Absolutely glorious birds. What else can I tell you about these beautiful, beautiful animals? Well, vocalization, yep, they're one of the birds that can certainly make a noise. Again, if you're going to motivate it by slashing its weight, and that's all, it's likely to turn into a screamer if you get a young bird to train. Again, a bit like how we train Henry, the young Harris-hawk. If you're turning up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you go flying, or you do nothing with it, it doesn't even see you much, and then you turn up the next day and that's its routine, it'll probably start calling, certainly the minute it sees you. So this bird is totally silent, but I've heard some awful screaming redtails. Think about how you manage their weight. And that really takes me on to the motivation of red-tailed hawks. This isn't a bird that responds well from just dropping its weight when you're first training a redtail. Buzzards and eagles can hold on to calories, almost slow their metabolism. Thanks for that, that's indoors. And they can just sort of almost shut down. So they're very hard to motivate in the initial training by just reducing their weight. You need to motivate them enough to get them feeding on the glove. Get them doing short hops to the glove. Don't go for big long distance, just get them moving. Like a golden eagle, probably like many eagles, motivate them by getting them to do something, because when they're doing something, a few short reps, longer flights on the creants, their metabolism kicks in and they'll turn the food over much faster. That'll give them a keener appetite and motivation will occur. You've all heard stories, I'm sure, of red-tailed hawks taking stand in a tree. Get that returning to the glove in place, including coming out of a tree, and fly them at the correct weight. And the correct weight means they're motivated, they're keen, they've got a good appetite, they want to not just chase and follow stuff, they definitely want to kill it, eat it. Get that repetition to the glove. But again, like any creant's work, don't think you've got to do 30 or 40 call-offs. But these birds do respond, once trained, to jump up exercises if you can't get out every day. Jump up exercises in the evening after work so you can fly at weekends, or a little bit of light rope work, just so they've got to go back and forth. Thanks for that. And not pull a heavy weight, but enough drag on that line, just like I do with Zeus, so that those wings are flapping. Get the bird moving is more important in a way to motivate it and get a keen appetite than just thinking, it didn't do anything today, I'm just not going to feed it. Starving, and I'm going to say that word because that's how some falconers seem to operate. Starving a golden eagle or a red-tailed hawk, I don't think it's a good idea. Get them moving, because both birds will fly to small rewards, small bettings in the glove quite happily. Getting them moving, you're getting them conditioned to come when you call them, but you're also getting their metabolism working and increasing their appetite. That's the best way I'm going to word it. What a beautiful girl. What a lovely girl this is. I always have, and probably always will, recommend the red-tailed hawk in falconry. In the UK, they've dropped away. Really, many species have dropped away from favour, really, since the Harris hawk became so easily and well bred that its price plummeted down to a couple of £100 at one point. The top breeders now, you'll be finding Harris hawks this year, 2024, cost you several £100 if you want a really top-notch Harris hawk from the few top breeders in the UK that haven't just bred rubbish together and have decent quality pairs. So that might change things. But when Harris hawks were down to a couple of £100 and red tails were around £500, which they've been for sort of since the early 90s, I think, they fell out of favour. The Harris hawk is much easier to train for an absolute novice. And I think I'll end on that. Why get a red tail? Because if you train and fly very successfully a red-tailed hawk, you'll be a better falconer than if you started training and flying successfully a Harris's hawk. This bird, you need to know and understand falconry far more than if you train a Harris hawk off the bat. But just like a Harris hawk, this is a species that not only suits the beginning falconer, not the dabbler, but the novice falconer who's interested properly, as well as any falconer, however long-term and however good. Because while I've said we can chase squirrels around the trees, we can catch game following on through woodland, we can catch a lot of ground game in pursuit directly off the fist. Something this bird offers someone that has slopes, hills and mountains as their flying land, then this bird will turn into something absolutely special. Red-tailed hawks train to wait on in a high wind on a slope or a mountain, whilst you're working the ground below, flushing rabbits and hares. If you're one of those lucky people that has the right terrain, this bird will blow your mind. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.